What's up guys, so in this video we are going to solve a problem. We are going to do a program, and our problem is this one. So this is from the lab manual the teacher gave us today. So our problem is create a class called employee. So first we are going to create a class that will be called employee, that has emp code and emp name as its data members. So these two will be the data members, the variables we are going to declare, and then we'll make two functions. One member function is going to get data, is where the user is going to input the data, that is the emp code and emp name, and then the second member function is going to display the successive data that are name and m code in the console. And after that we are going to write a main function to create emp. So inside the main function we are going to create emp, that will be an array of employee objects. So we are going to create an array of employee objects, and accept, and we are going to accept means that we are going to let the compiler accept, means we are going to let the user enter the data and display the details of at least 6 employees. So it's up to us whether we want to display whether we want to display the details of 6 employees, 7, 8 means 6, or more than 6. So let's get started. So first of all, we are going to create a class that will be called employee. So this right here is our class, just like this. Now what we are going to do is we are going to declare two variables. One is int, and that is emp name, and the second one is we are going to declare a string variable, or you can just, so what you can do is, so basically string is an array of characters. So what you can do instead is you're going char asterisk emp name, just like that. So this will also work. Sorry, this is int emp code, and this one is emp name. So this is also going to work the same way as we will as the string variable, variable type is going to work. Both data types are going to work the same way. Now we are going to write the reserved word public, so we can access these member functions outside the class as well through the objects. So now first, if you remember, we'll have to make a function to input, or to let the user enter these two variables, or the employee's data inside the memory. So what we are going to do is we're going to create a function that will be called get data, and inside this function we are going to prompt the user to enter the data, means enter the employee code and employee name successively. So what we are going to do is we are going to prompt the user to please enter the code, please enter the employee code and name. There you go. Then we're just going to make our code a little neat, and so for that we are going to write cout, that is code, then a colon, and then we're going to see in our emp code. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want so the user does not get confused at what he is entering. So so if I write code in front, or before the code, or before the member the user is going to enter, so the user is not going to get confused which data member he is inputting. So that is why I wrote code before I use the word cin. So here I'm going to do code, and then after this I'm going to prompt the user to enter the name. For that name, then a colon, yep, just like that, and then I'm going to cin name, just like that. So what have okay, so I actually made a mistake again. So these two is called the I think this is called the extraction operator, and this out one, these angle brackets, the double angle brackets which are pointing the to the left side, I think these are called the insertion operator, and the two angle brackets which point to the right side are called the insertion operator, or the extraction operator. I'm a little bit confused. I'll have to make it sure by reading it from the book that what are they called, what each one of them is called. So here I have made my function, that is get data. This function is complete. Now I'm going to make a function to display the to display that each data item. So display, and I'm going to see out name. I'm going to see out employee, just like that. Employee name is, and emp name, and then I'm going to see out employee code is employee code. So my two functions are complete, and now you're not using any constructors in this program because we're not told to do so. So now we are creating an array of objects that was prompted to us. So we are going to create an array employee emp, and the syntax is we're going to put the square brackets and the number of objects we want. So I think 10 objects will be enough because we are displaying at least 6, so it can be 6 or more than 6. So I just, as a standard, I'm going to create 10 objects in this array. I'm going to put the index number as 10. Then so for displaying the data of every employee, I'll have to use a loop. To call these two functions for every object. So for that reason, I'm going to use a for loop, and inside a for loop I'm going to write int I equals 0, and while I is less than 8, for example. So because it's at least 6, so I can do 8, 6 or more 6, so I can do 8, and I plus plus, and then I'm going to access every function through my object. So emp, and then the I is going to denote the object we are currently working with. So emp I dot get data, so it's going to access this get data function, where the user is going to input data for the employee, that is the m code and m name, and then emp I again for displaying the data, just like that. And then so this is it actually. So if we run the program, so code, for example, I enter 345 and name I enter Talha, it's working perfectly fine. It's showing me employee name is Talha and employee code is 345. But I actually want to do a little modification in this program, and then modification is I want to know that which employee's name and code is being shown as the output. So for that reason, or for that, what I'm going to do is so the only way, in my view, the only way is to declare a static variable right here after the or before the int m code. And the reason I'm declaring a static variable, because static variables remain static, means it's stationary. It remains stationary throughout the program, means it does not change its value, and every object accesses, or every object points to the or have the same static variable, means they don't have a separate copy of that variable, they refer to the same variable. So the value of that variable is going to be the same, is going to be same throughout the program. So, and that's exactly what I want. So int static int I, and then the syntax to, so this is the declaration, and the syntax to initialize it, I'll have to initialize it outside the class. So int the class name, and then not int I just I'll just make it an x. So x equals 1. I'm initializing it to 1, and the reason I'm initializing it to 1, because so for here, so let's say here this is, so right now, when the first object is going to execute, means this loop is when this loop is going to execute the first time. So I want it to show that the employee one's name is this and employee one's code is this. So for that, I actually initialize it to 1. And you know how I'm going to do that? I'm going to do that by just writing employee and then here x, so employee, and x is going to show the value that will be 1 for the first object, and then just like this, employee ones, and I want to so I here once for to write once, so I'll have to insert a apostrophe s, and I'm not going to give any space, because it's I don't want any space to be in between the value that is x and the m code, the x and the s, that is the apostrophe s. So what I'm going to do just like that, and then here, so this and employee x's name is this, and employee x here again, and to mention the apostrophe, I'm going to do just like that, apostrophe s, and there's no space between the variable and the first part of the string. Code, so employee x's code is m code, it's going to remain the same. Actually, let's create a space right here so our code looks a little neat, just like that. So now if I run the code, it's prompting me to enter the code. So 456 is the code, and now it's prompting me to enter the name. I'll enter the name Talha, and now it's showing me that employee one's name is Talha and employee one's code is 456. If I wouldn't have declared the static variable, I would just be getting employee that employee name is this and employee code is this, I wouldn't be getting the employee number or the current employee. I don't know which employee's data is being shown right now, but with the help of static variable, currently I know that which employee's name and code is being shown currently. So if I wouldn't have declared this, I wouldn't there wasn't any way for me to know which employee is this. So here, for that reason, I have used the concept of static variable. I've implemented that concept to know that which employee's data is being shown or which employee's data is being worked upon right now. So here, um, I'm going to write the code for another employee 457, and the name will, let's say, Hassan. Okay, what happened?